Who are you?
The question isn't who am I? The question is, where am I?
Lasting for nearly 30 years, the Scream films are still going strong after 6 entries. And except for the last film, Neve Campbell has been the face of the franchise. Today's ScreenRant delves into her Scream 7 return.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life.
Starting as a teenager in 1996's Scream and ending up as a mother of 3 in 2022's Scream 5, Neve Campbell's portrayal of Sidney Prescott spans multiple generations. It's also spawned generations of fans. Unfortunately, her absence in Scream 6 over a payment dispute was noticeable to the paying audience. Luckily, the producers have come to their senses and have decided to pay the woman, with Melissa Barrera being fired from Part 7 and Jenna Ortega parting ways with the project, along with Dewey's death in Part 5 and Courtney Cox not officially signed for Part 7 yet. Now is the time for Sidney to be front and center again, something we haven't seen since Scream 4. Throw in original creator Kevin Williamson making his Scream franchise directorial debut, and Scream 7 might be Sidney's chance to shine again. But what will Scream 7 be about? Since terrorized teenagers tend to play a huge part of the Scream franchise, it makes perfect sense to get Sidney's kids in on the action. As mentioned in Scream 5, Sidney has 3 kids with Patrick Dempsey's detective Mark Kincaid from Scream 3. And since there is a sizable time jump from Scream 4 to Scream 5, plus a potential time jump from Part 6 to Part 7, it's very likely that some or all of Sidney's kids will be teenagers or young adults in the new movie. And while they might be Kincaids in name, there's nothing that Scream movies love more than Prescott's in danger. Plus, the mythology of Sidney's family that was weaved into past films is too rich to ignore. If the first Scream was about the sins of the parents, perhaps Part 7 will be about the sins of Sidney's kids, or the sins of Sidney herself. Plus, it's a solid way to keep Scream 7 out of Woodsboro because there is no way Sidney is raising her kids in that cursed town. The New York City setting of Part 6 was a refreshing change that needs to be continued in Scream 7. Neve Campbell's return in Scream 7 could also be a perfect way to give her a fitting swan song. With Barrera and Ortega out, Campbell had leverage when signing. The franchise needed her back. She can probably call some important creative shots. And with Williamson at the helm, expect a love letter to and a potential death of Sidney and perhaps other legacy characters should they return. Maybe it's time for Scream to make a clean break from all existing characters and fully pivot for Part 8 should it happen. So, what do you think, Screamers? Should Sidney live or die in Scream 7? Thanks for watching.